Welcome to Problem Solving 101 in this BeyondFormulas Excel modeling training series. The goals of this lesson are to provide a high-level overview of the problem-solving processes that most consultants at Bain, BCG, and McKinsey are taught to follow. The reason I advocate applying it to all your own models is that even if you are not a consultant, it provides a set of powerful tools to help you be more rigorous in your thinking. But the more powerful benefit to you is that the process actually helps you reduce the amount of work you have to do by targeting just the right analysis and data that you actually need to solve the problem. If it feels like you're not doing enough Excel yet, please just trust me through this section. You'll emerge with a razor-sharp understanding of what you're trying to do and a set of very specific analyses and activities to perform in order to solve the meat of the problem. The fulcrum of this training is the classical consulting centerpiece, the problem-solving process. This process is a broad approach to problem solving that puts the emphasis on breaking down the problem into key parts, using data to find the highest impact components of the problem, and then to develop hypotheses around solving those key levers. Done properly, this approach saves time and energy by keeping you focused on the big picture issue rather than boiling the ocean, consultant speak for indiscriminately analyzing everything from the bottom up. The first step is to define the problem. Really dive into exactly what we're trying to solve, establish the precise scope, and understand the context, politics, and environment in which the problem is being solved. The second step is to structure the problem, arguably the most important step of all. Break the problem down into logical, structured pieces, each of which can be independently solved. Third, you're going to prioritize and plan your attack. Different branches of your logical structure will have very different degrees of impact on the main issue you're trying to solve. Focus on solving the branches that matter the most to avoid boiling the ocean. For each high-priority branch, plan the details of the exact analyses you would need. Planning the analysis like this will be your main guide as to the sort of data you will need. The fourth step is to gather the necessary data. Once you've established which branches you're going to work on and what you plan to do for each branch, you need to go and trawl the internet and the company resources to find the best possible data to support your case. Data will never fit perfectly, so you often have to iterate a few times on the kind of analysis that you want to do before you get it right. The fifth step is to analyze and estimate. Complete the calculation, modeling, and analysis using the evidence you've gathered. Many things are inherently unknowable, especially about the future. Hence, you need to use a range of scenario and sensitivity analyses techniques to understand what impact different inputs have on each of your outputs. Complete this kind of analysis for each of the top priority branches of your problem structure. The sixth step is to synthesize the results. Senior leadership and others like to make high-level decisions and don't really care about the details. You should treat them as though they have ADHD. They only want to know that you have done all the thinking and plowed through all the details. They want to see the minimum amount of summary data presented as logically as possible to enable them to make a decision. This means that your job is to summarize the number crunching into the key numbers that can always help sway the decision. And the last step of all is to socialize and influence. Now that you have your key summary metrics, your next goal is to weave them all into a story that compels the decision makers to do what you are recommending. This involves looking at the upside, the downside, and the scenarios in between, and helping understand the risks and rewards presented by the uncertainty of the future. Just presenting the information isn't enough. You need to socialize it carefully with all key stakeholders, taking care to bring them along with your reasoning and avoiding the obvious political landmines. Without this, your work could end up being discredited or largely ignored. We'll go through each one of these steps throughout the course of the training, and I'll show you how to incorporate this process into the design of your models.